You already have one. There we go. What is it that you want to be known for? Defining who you are. Because otherwise you're building a personal brand and you're lying to everybody and you're lying to yourself. You are an amazing business person, and don't you forget that. Today we're going to be talking about your personal brand and some tips about how to build it. Just to give you a quick rundown, my name is Dev. I am a business and marketing consultant. I've been doing the job for about 10 years, too long, and I created this YouTube channel to share my knowledge, valuable skills from a marketeer, from my personal perspective with you guys for free. So if that's something which you feel like you're going to get great value out of, consider clicking on the subscribe button and come and say hi. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about your personal brand. You already have one. There we go. That's it. Video done. You already have a personal brand, and it literally sits and it resides in every single person that knows who you are. Think about it. Your friends, your family, your colleagues, everybody that knows who you are has a brand in their head about you. Personal branding is about controlling your personal brand and making sure that it is, if anything, the same across a larger group of people or a larger audience. So to easily explain all of this stuff in the most simplest way from my perspective is to break this video down into two sections. That's going to be the planning phase and then the implementation phase. Okay, so planning phase number one. What we want to talk about is, why are you doing the personal branding in the first place? Like, what's your objective? What is your goal? Why do you want to do this? Is it because you want to make money out of your personal brand? Is it because you want to get a better career, promotion, or you want to be recognized with the seniors at your company? Or do you want to be seen locally? People want to see your business locally. You want to get a reputation for something. Do you want your family to see you in a different light? Do you want your friends to see you in a different way? The reason why we need to know what your objective, what your goal is, be true to yourself. And the reason why we ask this is because your personal brand, what you're creating, is going to be reflecting who you are. When you find out what you are or who you are, it's going to be easier to figure out exactly what extent or how big this personal brand needs to be. Secondly, what is it that we actually want to be known for? Or you could be an artist who specializes in a special technique of painting. Like, you could be an accountant who specializes in a particular accounting technique, who could be a specialist at that. You could be recognized for that, and you could use that, build a personal brand surrounding this, and sell this off to an accounting firm or a large corporate company, for example. You could build your reputation around that particular field. What is it that you want to be known for? The third thing we're going to talk about is defining who you are. Defining who you are is not an easy thing to do, because it is often bias. You're asking yourself, I am this because I want to be this, but you may not be that. And you sometimes may need somebody to tell you who you actually are. A really close friend or a family member or something, to define who you are. What are you good at? What aren't you good at? Because it may actually expose to you what you need to work on or what you need to improve on. This is why we plan it ahead. It's the right way to do it. Because otherwise you're building a personal brand and you're lying to everybody and you're lying to yourself, and you will be caught out, you will be exposed. The fourth point that we're going to be talking about in the planning phase is, who is the audience? And where are they? Who is that audience? Is it a younger audience? Is it an older audience? What devices are they using? How are they using the internet? How are they finding out about you? Do they read the newspaper? Do they read articles and magazines or anything like that? Where are they looking? What's their demographic? What's their behavior? Ultimately, where are your audience? And those four things together, when you combine them, are the powerful foundations of building a personal brand. So what I want you to do is a bit of a weird thing here. I want you to get all four of those topics, right, that we've just spoken about, and I want you to go onto Microsoft Word or whatever and type out a paragraph on each of those. Once you've written out a paragraph on each of those topics, put it into ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT to create a summary of it. And that summary is going to be the foundation of what you are. Okay, moving on to the second part of the video, the main actual crux of it all is, where are we going to start getting ourselves seen? The first thing is actually just build a brand online. Like, come on, it's a no-brainer. We live in 2024 when I made this video, so you can think to yourself, everybody's got a mobile phone. Everyone's got access to the internet. Make a YouTube channel, build an Instagram profile, build an X account. It's a great way to build your reputation. And don't do it in the way that you're going to be trying to get business out of social media, for example. Just get your content online. because it's going to build yourself that reputation. When you meet someone in real life, you can at least say to them, hey, look, I've got a social media presence and this is what I look like and this is what I do. This is why I'm a specialist in this particular field. People will recognize it and they'll listen to you. My second point here is actually kind of very similar to the first one, but it is more purposeful. It's to build a website. Like, it's a no-brainer. I know people think to themselves these days, why do I need a website when social media is all the thing? No, when you need a service, when you need something, when you want to find out some information, you still likely are looking at websites and you're likely to be using Google. So if you are a local plumber, if you're a local service, you're an accountant or whatever, first thing I want to say to you is go onto a domain purchasing website such as like GoDaddy.com or Namecheap.com or something like that. 123reg if you really want to. You can search yourname.com or .co.uk or whatever, see if it is available. If it is available, I would recommend buying it immediately because it's going to go to somebody else if you don't buy it. But don't worry if your name has been taken, find an alternative. You know, there's always suggestions that it always comes up with, but ultimately try and keep it related to who you are or what you do. For example, if your name is John Smith, townnameplumber.com or something like that. It allows, so anyone that basically sees your website is going to be like, hey, look, that's that guy I know, John Smith, and he's a specialist in this field, in this area. It reinforces your legitimacy. Building a website is perfectly fine. It doesn't need to be anything, extravagant. It can be literally even a one-page website, just something where people can see content for yourself. And if you don't know how to make a website, I recommend getting in touch with a web designer. You probably look at like Fiverr or something.com if you just want to get something done really quick and quite cheap. Now, using a website, again, it can be quite strategic here. You can build content on the back of this. So you can build like strategic articles with, great keywords, basically call this SEO. It's a massive topic in itself, but getting the right content out there. So news articles talking about, latest practices about things that are happening in your industry, and getting an article published or a blog post published every 3 days, maybe 4 days, if you want to do it once a week, even once every 2 weeks, something. Eventually, after a few months, you're going to be ranking somewhere on Google, at least for some of these key topics, these key fields. So the more and more content you keep putting out there regularly, Google's going to recognize it. Search engines overall are going to recognize it. You're going to start ranking. And eventually, when people do come across your profile, your name is going to get out there. My third tip is going to be attend networking events. Get your name out there, meet people, and practice to network with people. Have that confidence within yourself to go and talk to someone. Hey, how are you? Meet you. Here's my business card. Engage with these people, make friends with them, make them realize that there's some sort of value within talking to you. And that's why I say at the beginning is to be honest with yourself. Understand, don't lie. If you feel like you're not knowledgeable about something, go and study, go and learn, get those skills and learn about it. Because when you go to these networking events, people who are knowledgeable about things are going to see right through you. So don't lie. And networking in itself is a skill. Some people are just not good at it. Some people need to practice at it. Some people are really good at it. But I would recommend getting out there and networking with people in like-minded places. If you don't know where to look for networking events, go into eventbrite.com. You can get the app. You can look at local things which are happening. If you are lucky enough to live in a city or a very large town, there's bound to be networking events, or there's bound to be events that are surrounding meetups or topics or discussions or seminars about particular fields. So go there, make the effort and go. Another thing you can do is actually research the attendees to particular events beforehand. And when you do that, right, you can optimize it and think, right, this person is going here, and that means I need to make sure that I brush up on my skills and my knowledge about this particular field of this particular topic. So when you actually go to the networking event and you meet that particular person, you can impress them a little bit. You can say, oh yeah, I'm very knowledgeable, whatever, about this particular topic in conversation, and it may resonate a bit more better with them because that may be their specialism as well, and you can form a bit more of a better relationship. Now, this one's a little bit different because obviously people don't all work in workplaces, but if you do, this one's going to be specific to you, because if you are trying to get on the radar of the new CEO or the managing director or your senior managers or whatever, if you want to get your reputation out there, you need to align with them. Make sure that you share all common grounds. You could be a low-level employee that doesn't have exposure, doesn't have the skills to progress or to get recognized by your seniors, but to do that, start sharing some of the qualities. Go to after-work networking events if your company holds them. Go to social activities, social events, and start networking and making friends with them, or get them on the good side of you. Don't overshare with them. Get familiar with their personalities first and understand the strategy of networking. Become very good at what you do in your job. Be the expert. in your field. Know everything that you need to do in your particular job, because your managers will recognize it. When you change your perception of why you go to work and why you get paid, isn't just because, oh, I've got a job to do. It's because of you knowing everything that needs to be done of your particular job. When your manager recognizes you for being the person that holds responsibility for things, that's when you're going to start aligning with their values. So workplace recognition is a very, very, very key thing to building your personal brand at a workplace, and it will always work. The fifth thing we're going to be talking about is design. So obviously personal branding, people think, oh, it's all about colors and all logos and stuff like that. And I haven't even spoken about logos or anything like this at all. You know, maybe I should have said that at the beginning. You know, if we're going to be thinking about colors, let's say for example, you are working in a law firm, or if you're working as an artist, you want to have, it's all going to look different. So this is obviously going to be something which is dependent on the field that you work in the industry, and obviously the angle that you want to take it. If you're an artist and you want to be seen as someone who's quite creative, you're going to think, oh, like great flashy colors, or a flashy looking website, or flashy this, flashy great logo, artistic design, because you need to showcase that. Yeah, it will probably be a bit more difficult for you to do that out of everything, right? But if you're a lawyer, if you're an accountant, something that's a bit more professional based, you want to tone it down. You want to make sure it's obviously, on brand essentially for the audience that you're targeting. So again, this video is not going to go into like depth about branding or anything like this, but obviously because we'll be here for ages still. Things that you can just take into consideration: the colors that are used, the logo design, the font that's used, statements, mottos, the language that you're using. Maybe if you've got a friend or someone who could take really good photos of you, that may be something which can help with your personal branding. The next thing I want to talk about is actually aligning with your competition. Go out there. If you think to yourself, oh, I want to be a specialist in psychology out there, or as a content creator, think about it. Right, go onto YouTube. Think about all the other people who are doing the exact same thing that you want to be seen to be doing, and literally don't imitate them. So never do that, but just sit there and think to yourself, right, what are they doing which immediately makes them perceivable as experts in that field? Do you go on their website or their YouTube channel and just see videos that are talking about these key particular topics which I am very interested in myself? Do they reinforce their ability and their knowledge immediately? Like, is that conveyed straight away? You need to align with that. You need to make sure that you're on the same level as them, because if you're seen below them, why would anyone want to watch them? You need to align yourself to them as close as possible.